Do you know that? Hmm? If he didn't write, how can it be in his name? Now Levi-Strauss was lavish actually. He used to sit in cafes and talk for hours and hours and drink. Of course, I think he did not drink alcohol. He drank only coffee, perhaps. So he used to drink cup after cup of coffee in the French restaurants, and all his followers used to sit there and listen to him. He used to talk. He used to talk about many things, many fields, and his followers, they knew that this fellow, he is very scholarly, he knows many things. He is a great scholar. So some of them, some of his fans used to write down what he said. And finally that was edited and published in the name of Lord Levi-Strauss as Structural Anthropology, and it gave us a new insight into the whole study, in the modern study of anthropology. It was the structural analysis of anthropological things and anthropological subjects, and that was brought in folklore also. In folklore, we borrowed from anthropology, the Levi-Straussian model, from linguistics, the Saussurian model. So in this way, folklore has used all this information. Now actually, you know, when you build houses, what happens? The first house, when it is built in a certain locality, it looks very beautiful. It is modern, elegant, but when the second house is built after 10 years, the second house looks better. The first house looks old. And when it is after 30 years, when the whole locality is filled up, then the first house looks like a hut. That has happened with me. My house is like that. No. So, knowledge is also like that. At one time, it was very heavy, elegant, knowledgeable, rich, very scholarly, but gradually, when new things come in, then new things are absorbed. And subjects which develop, the disciplines which developed long, long ago, they had their own theories, they had their own ways of studying their subject, but folklore is comparatively a new subject in comparison to political science, economics, philosophy, etc., etc. We had study of political science, economics from the days of Plato and Aristotle. From the days of Thomas Robert Malthus. But folklore came into being, the study of folklore came into being only in the 19th century. It was in 1846 that for the first time this term was used in a magazine called Athenaeum in London. There was no subject, no discipline. In one journal, this word was used for certain things which were till then called popular antiquities, which are now called folklore. In folklore, one is the material and one is the study. Economics and economy is different. Political science and politics is different. So in the same way, people try to distinguish between folkloristics and folklore. Folkloristics was used by the Americans, but it did not gain much popularity. Folklore denoted both the discipline and the objects, the materials. Folklore is used for both the materials as well as for the study. So, at that time, those materials were there. These materials were there from time immemorial. Whatever we study in folklore is very, very ancient. In fact, these are the first things before the advent of science, before the coming into being of modern civilization. So they are there. Now, sometimes very modern things also become things of the past and popular antiquities, and they become folklore at times. So the fashions, for example. Fashion is very dynamic. It doesn't remain static. If it remains static, they will be like me. Do you know the long pant that the men wear? At one time, it was having two folds on the waist. Then the folds were removed. It became plain. Then the bottom was quite wide. Gradually, the bottom was decreased and it became drain pipe. It was called drain pipe. That design of pant was called drain pipe because you needed two persons to wear it. One to take it out. You cannot put on the pant by yourself. Somebody should help you. Somebody should pull it because it was very tight. So it became drain pipe, and after that gradually it widened. Then it became bell bottom. Do you know bell bottom? Bell bottom is wide at the bottom. Then it became elephant bell bottom. Have you heard elephant bell bottom? In our time when we were in college, one of our friends wore a pant which was 44-inch wide. But incidentally, at that time also my pant was 18-inch and now also it is 18-inch. So in folklore it doesn't remain like this. You can wear in your lifetime the same size pant, but folklore will not remain same. It will change. If it is fashion, the weddings for example nowadays, in the wedding customs, what your mothers and what your grandmothers say is different. Nowadays it is different. Now there is no wedding song singers. Some people have learned singing, of course, after listening to YouTube and the recorded songs. Nowadays it is available. So they have started learning, and whenever there is wedding ceremony, then the one who has learned it, she tries to show off and she starts singing. But nobody is there to catch. She has to sing alone. But at one time it was not like that. Every woman of the village was adept in singing. They used to sing impromptu. It was created instantly. It was not text that they sang. It was the event that they sang. It was composed impromptu, like the Bihu songs. Bihu songs nowadays, people cannot sing Bihu songs if they don't have the text. But at one time, even in our young age, we used to sing impromptu Bihu songs. We used to take the tune, the beat, and then we used to go on singing. Now there are formats actually. There are formats of singing. Now, have you heard about Albert P. Lord? Have you heard the name of Albert P. Lord? He has written a book on singing, which is called The Singer of Tales. The Singer of Tales. So, according to him, there is a formula in the mind of the singer which he goes on expanding. Now when you listen to the Ujapali, then you will see that there are certain refrains, some repetitions, which are repeated after certain period of time, and during that period, the person, the Uja, he prepares his next verse and he sings it out. He cannot memorize the whole book. When he sings the Manasa Mongol Tajbo or the Ramayana, now in Ujapali there are many texts, no? In one version it is in Byahar Ujapali. What is the text? There are people working on Ujapali. Yes. What is the text of Byahar Ujapali? Dr. Porishmita Sharma. Ramayana, Mahabharata. Yagwa. Okay. And the other form, Upnani? What is the text? Manasa Tatva. Padma Purana. Yeah. So when somebody sings the Mahabharata, and now actually these performing art forms are say cut short to 1 hour performance maybe or 2 hour performance. Even the Bhavna is now made 1 hour performance. But originally the Bhavna was performed for the whole night. It began in the evening and it continued till next morning. Ujapali, they used to sing the whole text, the whole narrative, the whole epic for a week or 10 days. In case of the Sabin Alun in Karbi, the Karbi Ramayana, they used to originally earlier sing it for 7 days. 7 days and 7 nights without any break. That was the rule. Only the singer used to get some break for his lunch, dinner and his call of nature. Otherwise, it goes on continuing. How could they continue singing? And there was no text. Karbi Ramayana was not written down. Karbi Ramayana was first written down for the first time in 1976. Do you know how was Karbi Ramayana collected? There was a superintendent of police in Karbi Anglong. Once he heard from one of his junior officers that there is a song where Rama and the Rama Katha is narrated. Then he asked him, bring me that song. He could not bring. Then he said, you bring all the people who can sing to our camp. So they caught hold of all the Ramakatha singers and brought them to the police reserve, and they gave them very good food. They kept them in a very good condition and asked them to sing. Now they could not sing initially because they needed some context, they needed some atmosphere. Now the best atmosphere for singing of folk songs in tribal societies by drinking. So now this police officer was a Vaishnava and he had banned drinking in the police reserve, and wine was not, any kind of alcohol was not available in the police canteen. It was removed from the police canteen. It was like that, and people liked that. The people, the common people liked it, and some of the police women, the women folk, the wives of the police, they liked it very much. So finally, for these people, the junior said that, sir, they cannot sing if they don't drink. Then special provision was made for giving them drinks. The traditional liquor, of course, the Karbi, Arak and Horlang. So that was provided and they started drinking, and the text was written down. There were what they call Sirostadar. In police there is a post called Sirostadar who writes the FIRs and everything, no? So Sirostadars were engaged for writing down